Shalom. Call Allah Yahweh Shemi Al Shai by Shem Rakakadas. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone that ruled well, that taught us this truth, the 100% truth. Salutations to and peace and salutations to the Akim on the four corners of this earth, risking their lives each and every day, pushing this truth on the highways and the byways. And to the brothers and sisters tuning in for edification, come with another lesson. This lesson will be entitled, "The Other Nations Don't Care About Us Because They Have Taken Crafty Counsel Against Us." So the reason why I wanted to kind of touch base on this topic is because, I noticed something was revealed at my plantation, basically just showing that these other nations don't care about us. And pretty much, the one at the top of the list is Esau, the self-proclaimed so-called white man that say they're white, but really technically they're red. They're Edom, Adawam in the Hebrew, wasted away, Genesis 25 and 25. So, that describes, Esau and Jacob, So these people have taken crafty counsel against us. And what I mean by something that was something that I noticed at my plantation was, they don't really want you to, get anywhere because they're so greedy. They want to harvest all the money, but they'll just give you what you just need just to get past, And like I say again, the self-proclaimed so-called white man is the main one at the top of the list because they're so infatuated with their fake money, that fiat currency, which that's all they care about. They put this persona on like they care about you, but in reality they don't. And that's what I, have been noticing, at my job, from the person that's high up, in position, that he puts on a persona that, he cares, but he's really just there for, to get what he needs, and this whole system is set up to keep you down, you know what I'm saying? It's not for you to get anywhere, and that's why, they don't care about us. These other nations don't care about us, And everybody is not going to receive this truth, you know what I'm saying? And the other nations, no, you're not included in this. And that's why you have taken crafty counsel against us, because you know who we are, you know what I'm saying? When you look at the big picture, our enemies have done nothing but evil to our people, man, you know what I'm saying? And Esau is at the top of the list, you know what I'm saying? And it's only because of our forefathers, refused to hearken to the truth of the Most High, worshiping other idols, and they broke the law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? And that's why these other nations still have to be punished, even though we went off. You know what I'm saying? The children of Israel, which is the the children of Israel, which is the Negroes, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? And those confusions of faces too. You know what I'm saying? Because Numbers 1 and 18, it's from the father lineage. You know what I'm saying? The seed of the father. Doesn't go by the mom. Like the small hats want to push out there. So when you weigh everything, weigh all the options and everything, it's all set up for our people to not prosper, to not get anywhere. We don't supposed to get anywhere in this place anyway, because Micah 2 and 10 says, I don't want to paraphrase it, but this is not our rest. You know what I'm saying? We don't supposed to worry about what's here, because this is not our kingdom. This is the self-proclaimed so-called white man. This their kingdom. Man, woman, and children. That's why they're able to do whatever they want to do. And they know who we are. That's why they took crafty counsel against us. You know, let's go to and this is gonna be a quick hitter. Let's go to Psalms 83 from the top. Verse 1. Keep thou silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. Verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Yeah. So who is our enemies? The enemies are these other 17 nations, you know what I'm saying? And like I said again, on the top of the list, that's Esau, Edom, you know what I'm saying? And of course, they hate us, you know what I'm saying? Because they know that we are the chosen people of the Bible, you know? They know that, but it's our people don't know that. Our people want to basically stay blind, you know? They want to stay in this darkness, you know? So our enemies have basically came together, you know what I'm saying, against us, you know? Because why? Because they hate us and they know. That's why whenever you go anywhere, especially our women go to these hair shops and stuff like that, what they're doing, they're saying all kind of, you know, bad stuff about them, you know. But what they want is they just want that money. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about you, you know. They just want to take that money and telling you to get the hell up out of here, you know. Keep it moving, you know. And the reason why they're coming against us is because we are the sons of the true living power, you know what I'm saying? We Yasharala, Prince of Power, you know, through the Spirit, you know, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know, that seed, you know, that seed line, like I said again, the Father, you know, and that's why they put us in snares and traps, you know what I'm saying? They always do that, especially Esau, you know, because they know what's up, you know. They know exactly what's up. That's why they don't want us to get anywhere. You know what I'm saying? This wicked place, and we don't want to establish nothing in this place anyway, because this place is through. We know y'all have taken crafty counsel against us, and y'all steady on y'all main agenda. You know what I'm saying? To keep on keeping us, you know, docile, especially our people. You know, and that's what they've been doing, you know, forever, you know, verse 3. And they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Yeah. So that crafty counsel is just like, you know, pretty much the EU and the NATO, you know what I'm saying? United Nations and all these different things, you know, you see Israel part of those different groups, you know what I'm saying? You don't see, I'm sorry, it's like you don't see Israel a part of those different groups. Yeah. You know, they came together to take crafty counsel against us. Yes. Who? The children of Israel. You know, these wicked deeds that they have pushed forward against us, you know. You know, and when it says crafty counsel, that means someone that's being slick and wicked, you know what I'm saying? And who is that? The elites, you know what I'm saying, that run this world. You know, they lie in their bed. I think there's a scripture for that. I can't remember which. But they lie in their bed to do evil against us. You know what I'm saying? Paraphrasing. I don't know if that's exactly how I worded, but, you know. And that's just right down evil. Evil, what they do. You know what I'm saying? To our people. And they don't care, you know. Let's read that from the top again. Verse 3. And they have taken crafty counsel against us, thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. And who is the hidden ones? The hidden ones is the children of Israel. You know, and when you bring the United Nations, you don't see no one representing us. You know what I'm saying? Not in the United Nations. We ain't got nobody to represent us. You know what I'm saying? The other nations do, but not us. And we ain't no stinking Hamites either. We are, you know what I'm saying? You call us black, but we ain't black. African American, we ain't that either. You know what I'm saying? That's two so-called white men, you know. Leo Africanus and American Vespucci, you know what I'm saying? You know? So we know. We don't see anyone making decisions for us in the United Nations. Cause we ain't there. You know what I'm saying? You know? Esau, that's why they have taken crafty counsel against them, because they know, what they have done, Verse 4. And they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. Yeah, And this is what our enemies did, to us, you know what I'm saying? They made sure to cut us off from being a nation. And no more remembrance. No more remembrance of Israel. And when you think of Israel, you think of those small hats, you know what I'm saying? That pretty much found that land in 1948. But no, Israel is not a land, it's a people before a place, you know what I'm saying? And my forefather is Jacob, you know what I'm saying? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Verse 4, and they have said, come, let me read that back from the top again. Verse 4, and they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And through the Spirit, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Okay, lines up with that. I think that's, Jeremiah 17:4, yeah. Yeah. Because they knew exactly what they were doing, you know what I'm saying? But since Yahweh Shai woke up to hopefully elect the remnant, you know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful and thankful thing, to be able to receive this truth and understand it, And let's go from the top, Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy heritage, you know what I'm saying, that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. Yeah. So you see, the Lord said he's going to cut us off from being a nation. You know what I'm saying? And this is part of that crafty counsel. You know what I'm saying? To cut Israel off. And we didn't speak English when we got off those boats, man. Our forefathers, we spoke Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Paleo Hebrew. We didn't speak no English. And you know what I'm saying? A good movie to probably check out will be Roots, you know what I'm saying? It tells you exactly, you know what I'm saying, how we was discontinued from our heritage, you know what I'm saying? We was beat, they was just, they beat the name out of it. When you was saying, tell me what my name, you saying, my name is Kute Kente. No, your name is Toby, boy. So, we pretty much, and that's a good movie to check out too, man. That's a pretty, so we know, you know what I'm saying? And it shows they did that to our forefathers, you know what I'm saying? But if you look at it now, fast forward to today, the system is different now. What they came up with now is, because they don't care about us, they took crafty counsel against us, is basically they set up this debt system, you know what I'm saying, to have you pay all these bills, you know what I'm saying. So you have to borrow, you know what I'm saying, money from, if you have a house, you got to borrow money from that. If you need something to purchase or something, or if you're trying to, travel or go somewhere, which you can use that too, money. But also what they really want you to do is they want you to, get all these credit cards, rack them up, even the worst credit cards is department store credit cards, you know what I'm saying? And they want you to do, that's their crafty counsel, you know what I'm saying, to keep you in debt. And however way they want to do, you know what I'm saying? Of course, because you got to have transportation to get around. So 9 times out of 10, if you can't buy have the money to buy a cash car, then you got to finance the car. So, that's one of their systems that they set up to keep you, a slave, even though it's different from the hardcore slavery that they did have us in, where we just worked, and they didn't pay our forefathers nothing. So they knew what they was doing, Yeah, they knew. Let me read that back from the top again. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4. And thou even thyself should discontinue, Slaka, from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. Yeah. Because right now, you know what I'm saying? Right now, the Heavenly Father is giving us, that grace period, you know what I'm saying? To basically get ourselves together, you know what I'm saying? To come back to Yahweh Shem Shai, you know? And the remnant and the elect is doing that, you know what I'm saying? Coming back to their heritage, you know what I'm saying? But some of them, like 2/3 of our people, man, which is niggas, they want to stay asleep. They don't want to come back to Yahweh Shem Shai, you know? And let's turn to Lamentations chapter, because this is a heavy book, Lamentations. Let's go to chapter 3, verse 46. And all our enemies have opened their mouths against us. Yeah. You know? And that's what they have done. All our enemies have done this to us. You know what I'm saying? Like I said again, they have took a number of crafty counsel against us. And they're still doing it. There's still ways of, taking crafty counsel against us. Redlining us. You know what I'm saying? The men got to pay all this child support. You know what I'm saying? To the woman because they turned the woman on us. Our women against us, and pretty much having hard times, if you're trying to find a job, but then you can't pay your bills, basically, struggling, you know what I'm saying? Constantly, having a northern and southern kingdom, divided and conquered to go against each other. So, they knew what they was doing, you know what I'm saying? And like I said again, let's read that back again. Lamentations chapter 3, verse 46. And our enemies have opened their mouths against us. Yeah. And they have opened their mouths against us. They have done all kind of, stuff to us. And they're still opening their mouths. Like I said again, they speak, bad about us, One Jake do something wrong, they look at all of us the same. And that's how they are, you know what I'm saying? Because Esau, thinking that they better than us, but you ain't better than us, man. We Yasharala, the Prince of Power. You the lowest of the lowest. You the caveman, you know what I'm saying? From the Caucasus Mountains, you know what I'm saying? We know who you is. Lamentations chapter 3, verse 47. Fear and snare is come upon us, desolation and destruction. Yeah. And desolation and destruction. This happened to us, you know what I'm saying? Because of we've been in so many different captivities from being disobedient, following Yahweh Shem Shai. He put us in captivity, and one of the ones that he, to be the heaviest whipping stick against us is, this captivity, now, America, Esau Edom. He gave him to put that whipping stick against us, But we coming up out of that now, you know what I'm saying? Because now we know what you're doing. We know your craftiness, your craftiness that you're trying to do to docile our people, which you're steady doing it anyway on a day-to-day basis, you know what I'm saying? Doing all kind of stuff, feeding us with sports all year round, you know what I'm saying? Got the man docile, just constantly watching sports all day, you know what I'm saying? So they have taken crafty counsel against us, you know what I'm saying? The laws that they have pushed out there, just to, make our men, fear and be scared. Even if you just step out for the evening or night, you got to be careful, you know what I'm saying? You got to, make sure, you make the right steps, you know what I'm saying? Take the right steps. And let's go to that, Lamentations 4 and 18, because that's what they do. They hunt our steps, you know what I'm saying? This is Lamentations chapter 4, verse 18. And they hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Yeah. And these are the same things, like I say again, until this day they're doing, you know what I'm saying? It's different than what they was doing in hardcore slavery, but, but I'm not saying what shit. They still doing the hanging and the lynching, but they ain't doing like most of the stuff they did back in the hardcore slavery. They just switching things up But if you look at it, man, if they can call you in, nigga, they would love to do that. Which that word, it only mean black, which they're calling you that anyway, every day. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you go fill out the application, you see black, they're calling you a nigga, you know? Yeah. You know? So, and that's why, you know, that's why we have to make sure, you know, we have to pray, you know what I'm saying? You know, at all times, because like the scriptures say, they hunt our steps, you know, and that's what Esau is the biggest hunter, the cunning hunter. He's the biggest hunter. He loves hunting, you know. And who is that biggest hunter today? Like I say again, Esau, you know. Verse 19, and our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They push us up on the mountains, and they lay wait for us in the wilderness. Yeah. So this is also speaking during the time when we were in the wilderness, you know, during back in time, Exodus, Numbers, you know what I'm saying? When we was going through the wilderness. And who was the one that we approached the first out of all the nations? It was Esau, Edom, you know what I'm saying? And when we was in the wilderness, they were still back in that time, you know what I'm saying? Taking crafty counsel against us, you know? Yep, they was. And who was and what it says, that's why Esau is that cunning hunter, because they're swifter than the eagle. And what's their mascot today? The eagle. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So we know Esau and the other nations, they ain't no different. They've been doing us wrong too. They've been taking that crafty counsel against us, you know, making us feel like we ain't nothing and we lesser than any other nation. But we are the cream of the crop, you know what I'm saying? We Yasharala, the prince of the power. So you can keep on with your little, you know, little funky little tactics that you do each and every day, you know what I'm saying? Let's go back to Psalms 83, verse 7. I'm going to close out a couple more verses. Psalms 83, verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent that they are confederate against thee. Yeah. And point blank, they are against us. You know what I'm saying? Whatever Esau do, he's not here to help us, man. He's here to, you know, make sure he keep us, you know, in a docile state of mind, divided between one another, especially the northern and southern kingdom. You know what I'm saying? You know? And they just try, you know, to hide things right now. You know what I'm saying? You know, that spirit that spirit to come right back. The spirit of Esau is still the same. You know what I'm saying? They still the same. If they can, you know, lynch you, or they can call you a nigga all day, or they can do all kind of, you know, stuff. But now they just do that fake acting, you know what I'm saying? Like that they love you, you know what I'm saying? Why we can't get a love you, oh, Merry Christmas. But in the back of their mind, they hate you, you know what I'm saying? You know? And I would rather say, just rather hey man, just be yourself, you know what I'm saying? Just be yourself, devil. Just call me what you to call me, and we can keep it moving, you know what I'm saying? Because I know who you is. Verse 6, I'm going to end on the last two verses. The tabernacle of Edom, that's the so-called white people, and the Ishmaelites, which is the Ishmaelites will be the so-called Arabs today, and Moab, the Chinese, and the Hagarenes, Africans, Gilboa, and Ammon is Japanese, and Amalek is the chief house of so-called white people, which will be the small hats today. The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, which is the Africans, you know. So all these nations have took number crafty counsel against us, you know. And all they have done was, you know, nothing different than what is in ancient time, which is then to today. You fast forward. So they still taking crafty counsel against us. So, and they don't care, like I said again, they don't care about us. They hate us, you know what I'm saying? You know. And that's why we have to come back to our true power, Yahweh Shem Shai. you know, and the remnant of, the elect and 1/3 is coming at the hopefully elect. We're coming back to Yahweh Shema Shah. So like I said again, our people need to understand, if you don't get it together and come back to Yahweh Shema Shah, you're gonna get left behind. But you need to know, you know what I'm saying? You got enemies in the Bible, and that's what they do. They've always taken crafty counsel against us. And they're still doing that to this day. And then the chief house is so-called white man, which is Esau, his biblical name. So I hope that was edifying. I want to say, call all y'all by Shem Shai by Shem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles at Great Millstone. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone that rule and teach well, that taught us the truth, the 100% truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim on the four corners, listening to lies each and every week. And to the brothers and sisters tuning in for edification, is your brother Dawadah. Shalom.